Have you ever witnessed a night so powerful, so breathtaking, that it felt like history itself was unfolding right before your eyes? Now imagine this. The world's eyes turn to China, the lights dim, the music swells, and suddenly, walking into the spotlight, is none other than BTS's Kim Taehyung, standing there like he was born to rule the stage. But this wasn't just another glamorous event. No. This was the night music, fashion, and history collided in a way that will never be forgotten. Let me ask you something. If you were in that audience, sitting in the dark as his name was announced, what would you have felt? Would your heart have raced? Would tears have filled your eyes? Or would you have simply sat frozen, unable to believe that you were seeing something the world would remember forever? If you're ready to relive that moment, then stay with me until the end. And hey, if you love stories that bring you closer to the stars you admire, make sure to subscribe, because here we don't just talk about news. We tell stories. It all began with whispers. Just little sparks of rumors spreading across ARMY communities. Taehyung might be attending a grand fashion show in China. At first, it felt like nothing more than hopeful chatter. After all, fans had seen him at Paris Fashion Week. Surely this was just another dream. But then came confirmation. Not only was he attending, he was set to be the centerpiece of the entire night. Can you imagine the emotions of fans across the world? Social media erupted like fireworks. Some fans booked flights to China. Others stayed awake at night counting down the hours. And somewhere in the middle of it all, Taehyung was preparing. Behind that calm, angelic smile we know so well, there must have been nerves. 'Cause this wasn't just a show. This was the show. The city buzzed with electricity when the night arrived. Outside the venue, streets were lined with fans holding banners, chanting his name, while inside, the runway glowed like a river of light. Celebrities from across the globe gathered in dazzling gowns and glittering tuxedos. Photographers filled the air with flashes like lightning. But everyone knew who they were waiting for. The host's voice finally echoed through the grand hall. Ladies and gentlemen, Kim Taehyung. And in that instant the air shifted. He appeared. Radiant. Dressed in a creation that shimmered like it was stitched from the stars themselves. Every step was deliberate, powerful, magnetic. He wasn't just walking a runway, he was commanding it. The audience froze, breathless. Some gasped, some cried, and many couldn't take their eyes off him, terrified to blink in case they missed even a second. Taehyung didn't need to say a word. His presence was thunder. With every glance, every movement, he was telling a story that words could never capture. This wasn't about fashion alone. It was about energy. It was about history. And maybe that's why people cried. Because this wasn't just about clothes or a catwalk. It was about a boy from Daegu who once dreamed quietly, now standing in China and making the world hold its breath. Fashion critics whispered, "This is different." Designers clapped. Models paused mid-step. Even photographers who had seen it all leaned closer to capture him. But the real storm wasn't in that room, it was online. On Weibo, hashtags trended within minutes. Taehyung in China, historic night, center stage king. Twitter and Instagram exploded with posts. Fans screamed into their phones, some crying so hard they couldn't type. A Chinese fan wrote, "Tonight, he didn't just shine for himself. He shone for us. For every fan who ever believed." From the United States, someone posted, "I stayed up all night just to watch him walk. And when he did, I cried like I was watching my own brother succeed." From India, a young fan tweeted, "In our culture, we say the eyes speak more than words. Taehyung's eyes spoke to me tonight. They said, believe in your dream." From Korea, a fan shared, "We watched a boy from Daegu walk onto a stage in China, and the whole world bowed to his presence. I've never been prouder to call him ours. From Brazil, one fan screamed online. I couldn't stop shaking. Felt like I was there. He walked for us too. For every army in every corner of the world. And from the Philippines came a whisper of love. I didn't have tickets. I didn't have money. But watching from my tiny screen, I felt rich with pride. Taehyung gave me hope again. These weren't just comments. They were pieces of hearts, pieces of souls. Together they painted one truth. Taehyung didn't just take center stage in China. He took center stage in the world. But here's something the cameras didn't show. Behind that calm smile, there must have been pressure heavier than any outfit he wore. Every step was being dissected by millions, every look judged, and yet he didn't falter. He carried it like a king. That's Taehyung's gift, turning weight into wings. And that's why this wasn't just a fashion show. It was courage on display. It was proof that when fear knocks, you walk forward anyway. By the time the show ended, one truth was clear. History had been written. Critics called his performance revolutionary. News outlets declared, Taehyung takes over China. Fans simply said, we are proud. But the most remarkable part, Taehyung himself didn't boast. He didn't celebrate like it was a conquest. He smiled gently, like it was just another step in his journey. And maybe that's what makes him different. He never forgets humility, even while standing in the center of the world. This story, though, isn't just about Taehyung. It's about us. It's about anyone who has ever doubted themselves. Because his journey is living proof that where you start doesn't decide where you end. He wasn't born into fame. He wasn't raised on red carpets. He was a boy with a dream, who worked, who fell, who stood back up, and who dared to step into the light. And if he can do it, why not you? Think about it. What dream are you hiding? What stage are you too afraid to walk onto? His story tells us that spotlights don't wait for those who hide. They shine on those who dare to step forward. And if you think this moment only inspired admiration, let me prove you wrong. Changed lives. Fans across the world weren't just cheering, they were transforming. From Indonesia, a fan said, I used to hide my drawings because I thought I wasn't good enough. But after seeing Taehyung step on that runway with so much courage, I started posting my art online. People loved it. He gave me courage. From the UK, another fan shared, I was going through depression. I felt invisible. But that night, when Taehyung looked into the cameras with those eyes full of strength, it felt like he was telling me, you matter. You're seen. You're loved. From Mexico, a young fan admitted, I had given up on my dream of becoming a singer. But after watching Taehyung stand fearless in front of the world, I picked up my guitar again. I'm chasing my dream for him and for me. From Pakistan, someone whispered online, my parents never believed in my dreams. But when I saw Taehyung on that stage, I finally believed in myself. And that was enough. And from South Africa, a fan wrote, I grew up poor. Watching people like Taehyung succeed showed me that where you come from doesn't decide where you end up. His story gave me the strength to keep studying and fighting for my future. These stories are proof. Proof that one man's courage can ripple across oceans, across languages, across cultures. Proof that one person's walk can change millions of lives. And so, my friend, let me turn the question back to you. What will your historic night look like? What stage are you afraid to step onto? What dream are you still hiding in the shadows? Because if Taehyung, a boy from Daegu, can stand in China and silence the world with a single walk, then maybe, just maybe, you can step into your own destiny too. If this story gave you goosebumps, if it made your heart race the way mine did, then make sure to subscribe, because here we don't just talk about celebrities. We talk about courage, about dreams, about history. Tonight, we relived one of those rare nights. The night BTS's Taehyung took center stage in China and reminded the world what it means to shine.